now. The first one talk is going to be Enrique Terán from the University of San Francisco in Quito, Ecuador, and he's going to talk about the Iberoamerican Pharmacogenetics Network, and we'll introduce it and summarize all the work done. Thank you.
Thank you, Eva. Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here, and I was given the honor to summarize for you what is the Iberoamerican Pharmacogenetics Network. This was a very interesting history to tell you very quickly. Which one is the point? Yes. But this history started long time ago. It was year 2000 when I was back to Ecuador, and I was invited by the National Institute of Health for a meeting in Mexico City to talk about research in Latin America. I met this guy, Jose Maria Chema Cantú, a genetist from Mexico. He was, at that time, probably the pioneer of genetic in Latin America, and he was part of the Human Genome Project as leader from Latin America. And we were talking about what to do in terms of research in the region. And he mentioned me, genetics will not be enough for Latin America. We need to think in something different for the region. 3-4 years after, we got the opportunity to meet together. We were in Cuernavaca by another meeting organized by PAHO and the National Institute of Health and CONICYT from Mexico. And again, Chema Cantú told me, what is happening? What are we planning to do for the region? And he mentioned me, I met a guy in Los Angeles that he's from Spain, and he is trying to study what's happening with Latin American population. So you probably try to meet him and plan to do something together. After a couple of years, Chema died. Cancer won the fight, and Chema passed away. And in 2007, I was appointed as the health head of CITED, the Iberoamerican Program for Science and Technology. So I got the opportunity to start talking with all researchers in health in the Iberoamerican area. It was the opportunity then to understand much better the research that this guy, that Chema Cantú, was mentioning me. So I learned about what Adrian Llerena was doing in Los Angeles at that time, and he was concentrated in study metabolites of the drugs. And basically what he was doing was to understand what happened with metabolism of the drugs. And to do the long history very easy, there was 3 groups of metabolizers, as you probably are aware. So the normal ones that are the majority, but there are 2 extremes, the slow metabolites and the faster metabolites. So population can be then divided in 2 big groups that are important to take in consideration. Those that are slow metabolizers, where the drugs at usual dosage produce toxicity, and the ultra-rapid metabolizers, where the usual dosage is lacking of efficacy. But those kind of analyses were performed all around the world, except, as you can see in the map, in Latin American countries. No information about what happened with metabolism of the drugs in Latin America. So at that point, I met Professor Llerena at the CITED. He proposed to create an Iberoamerican network to study pharmacogenetics, and it was the opportunity to make real what Chema Cantú was during several years planning, and we met each other, and we had the opportunity to work together several years since then. Adrian Llerena created such an impressive network of countries working together in pharmacogenetics. what CITED, as Iberoamerican program, was asking was to get at least 4 countries working together. But as you can see, most of the countries in Latin America were concentrated by Adrián to work together and put the effort together to understand what is happening with our population. And at the end of the CITED program, those were the impressive results. Being in CITED, I never seen such a productive network in terms of collaboration, human resources capabilities, and even more publications of proper results. So with that in mind, the history shouldn't be enough at this time. And that is how the program closes in 2009 for CITED. And as you can see in this calendar, in 2008, it was produced the Declaration of Cartagena de Indias, that was the previous one of the Mérida Declaration, when this group of researchers decided, with 40 groups working in Latin America, that it was quite important to understand how genetics is influencing in terms of pharmacos and drugs in the population, native population. So since then, we were looking for some more activities, and Professor Llorena got to the AEC6, the cooperation agency from Extremadura, to get some financial resources in addition to create this project called SaIud, that was the European Iberoamerican Consortium of Pharmacogenetics, where we tried to understand better what was happening then in the clinics with our population. And we did 3 basic analyses, that was the genotyping, the phenotyping, and the ancestry studies. It was such a big study, probably the biggest one all around the world, where we were capable to recruit 6,000 people from Latin America. Most of the countries in Latin America participate in different ways, but it was able to collect samples that were not only a process to send in sample, it was to build capabilities locally to analyze those samples and to get results locally. After that, we moved to another second project called Mestifar. That Mestifar was to try to understand the ancestry of those people, where are coming from and why is different what we were finding in each one of the places. And we built something like this that was amazing for us to better understand what is the genetical load of each one of the population. As you can see very easily here, red one means the Spanish load, the green one is the indigenous one, and we have the blue that is the African ancestry. And you can see, depending on the place where we were studying, how different the process is. But that was not enough. Our people keep working on methods to try to do the phenotype, because as you are aware of that, it's not enough to get the genes. Even more important is to know if those genes are really active, are really working. So we decide to build our own method, our cocktail, to provide a small amount of drugs and to test if those genes are able to really metabolize the drug into the body. And with that, we reach the last part of this long history, that is the Iberoamerican project, where we're trying to link genes and metabolic phenotypes in Iberoamerican population to better understand what is really happening. Those all aspects has produced a huge impact in terms of scientific transfer technology into the region. So if you take in account the years provided by CITED, that were 4 years, these remaining years from 2010 to now is provided by what the Agencia Española and Agencia Extremeña de Cooperación Internacional has provided. So we had more than 86 human resources exchange. We have training based on more than 300 activities, publication more than 50. That is probably amazing for the region, and that is what means Iberoamerican pharmacogenetic networks, probably one of the most successful histories to tell about. Thank you.